Tonight, the top 8 Republican presidential contenders faced off in their 4th debate in Milwaukee.
The main topic was the economy, but things got heated when the discussion veered into issues like illegal immigration and foreign policy. KCAL 9 political reporter Dave Bryan is here now with highlights from the debate. Dave.
Anyone who thought this was going to be a quiet, scholarly discussion of issues was pretty surprised, I can tell you that. For most of the night, it was everyone pile on Donald Trump. He appears to have plateaued in the polls, and so his 7 challengers on stage tonight zeroed in on number 1, hitting him on a long list of issues, including deportation of undocumented immigrants. At a debate that focused primarily on economic issues, it was immigration that got the sparks flying at the 4th Republican presidential candidate exchange. And right in the middle was Donald Trump, who vigorously defended his plan to deport more than 10 million immigrants who are not in the country legally.
We either have a country or we don't have a country. We are a country of laws. Going to have to go out, and they'll come back, but they're going to have to go out, and hopefully they get back. But we have no choice if we're going to run our country properly and if we're going to be a country.
That triggered angry exchanges with Ohio Governor John Kasich.
But for the 11 million people, come on, folks, we all know you can't pick them up and ship them back across the border. It's a silly argument. It's not an adult argument. It makes no sense.
All I can say is you're lucky in Ohio that you struck oil.
Gerald, it was
what happened to my question?
You're not going to have my back. I'm going to have my back. Let me say a couple things here. First of all,
you should let Jeb speak.
We can't ship 11 million people out of this country. Children would be terrified, and it will not work.
Mr. Trump, you've had a good. Can I let me just
built an unbelievable company worth billions and billions of dollars. I don't have to hear from this man. Believe me. Hear from him.
Mr. Trump.
Moments later, Jeb Bush joined the attack on Trump's immigration deportation plan.
And even having this conversation sends a powerful signal. They're doing high fives in the Clinton campaign right now when they hear this. That's the problem with this. We have to win the presidency, and the way you win the presidency is to have practical plans. Lay them out there. What we need to do is allow people to earn legal status where they pay a fine.
In fact, for much of the night, Republican poll leader Donald Trump was under fire, like this exchange with Bush on U.S. military involvement in world hotspots like Syria and Ukraine.
We can't continue to be the policemen of the world. We owe $19 trillion. We have a country that's going to hell. We have an infrastructure that's falling apart, our roads, our bridges, our schools, our airports, and we have to start investing money in our country.
Thank you, sir.
Donald is wrong on this. He is absolutely wrong on this. We're not going to be the world's policeman, but we sure as heck better be the world's leader. There's a huge difference where without us leading, voids are filled. And the idea that it's a good idea for Putin to be in Syria, let ISIS take out Assad, and then Putin will take out ISIS, I mean, that's like a board game. That's like playing Monopoly or something. That's not how the real world works.
You know, Mr. Trump fancies himself a very good negotiator. And I accept that he's done a lot of good deals. So Mr. Trump ought to know that we should not speak to people from a position of weakness. One of the reasons I've said that I would not be talking to Vladimir Putin right now, although I have met him as well, not in a green room for a show, but in a private meeting.
Can I finish with my time?
Why does she keep interrupting everybody?
Yeah.
Boy. Terrible.
Yeah, I'd like to finish my response, basically.
Ben Carson, who was invisible for much of the night, attacked the media again and defended his claim that he was offered a scholarship at West Point.
What I do have a problem with is being lied about and then putting that out there as truth.
And when Florida Senator Marco Rubio, who's been rising in the polls, said he wants to rebuild the military, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul took dead aim at that.
I believe the world is a stronger and a better place when the United States is the strongest military power in the world.
Marco, how is it conservative? How How is it conservative to add $1 trillion expenditure for the federal government that you're not paying for? How is it conservative? How is it conservative to add $1 trillion in military expenditures? You cannot be a conservative if you're going to keep promoting new programs that you're not going to pay for.
Texas Senator Ted Cruz, who's also moving higher on the presidential candidate food chain, had his share of good moments as well. But this wasn't one of them.
5 major agencies that I would eliminate: the IRS, the Department of Commerce, the Department of Energy, the Department of Commerce, and HUD. And then 25 specific programs. Again, that's on our website at tedcruz.org.
Oops. One of the interesting aspects of tonight's debate was that, unlike the last debate, there was very little discussion of personal histories of the candidates and their personal finances and lives. The focus truly was on issues, but there were plenty of sparks anyway. Juan, it was quite a night.